Definitely. So hi everyone. Again, I'm Molly Bastida. I'm a senior here at Augie, or I will be in the fall. That's weird. That's the first time ever saying that. Wow. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm majoring in communication sciences and disorders, or CSD, and religion. And like Rachel said, I work for the Office of Student Life. So this morning, we're going to kick off our little fun session with something that you guys might have seen around on social media, on your Instagram, on maybe your TikToks. So it's this little game that we're going to play as an icebreaker. So feel free to turn on your cameras or keep them off, whatever you prefer. But we're going to play the put a finger down game, but Augustana edition. So what you'll do is you just put 10 fingers up and I'll be reading a statement. And so if the statement applies to you, then you just put a finger down. And then after the 10 statements, we can see who has the most fingers, who has the least amount of fingers. And it really shows how similar we are, but we're also different. But ultimately, we're all part of this new Augustana community. So are we ready to play? Yes, yes. Okay, I'm seeing a few more awesome faces. Ready for the finger down game. Okay, all right, so we're gonna get started here. So put 10 fingers up and put a finger down if you're from the Midwest. Put a finger down if you're from anywhere outside of the Midwest. Okay, a couple. Put a finger down if you like the colors blue and gold. Put a finger down if your high school's colors or mascots are the same as Augie's. Put a finger down if you're excited to continue your education with an awesome major, even if you don't know what that major is yet. Put a finger down if you're thinking about joining Greek life. Put a finger down if you want to find lifelong friends. Put a finger down if you're a student athlete. Nice. Put a finger down if you're planning to be involved in music or theater. Ooh, I would like to learn from all of you. I would love a music lesson if you have time, since we have so much time in quarantine now. And finally, put a finger down if you're so excited to be an Augustana Viking. Woo! Okay. Well, I hope you guys had fun learning a little bit more about each other and about all of us really are connected with this awesome Augustana community. So I hope you're excited for a really fun session with Tia, Michael, and myself. So next I'm going to throw it over to Tia to talk more about the Office of Student Life.
Thank you, Molly. That was very fun. All right, so as Molly mentioned, I'm Tia. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Life and Leadership, and I'm also the Coordinator of Greek Life at Augustana. So we're going to be talking about, Molly and I today, we're going to be talking about everything our office has to offer. So our office, the Office of Student Life, also known on campus as the OSL, works to connect students to a variety of cultures and experiences while you're here on campus through arts, entertainment, and educational programming. So we really want to keep you engaged with campus when you're not in class and over the weekend to keep you here and meeting new people and being involved on campus. So our office supports more than 150 student organizations on campus, and we also encourage our students and offer you support in community service opportunities. In our office, it's included in the OSL, we oversee the Student Life Programming Board, the Multicultural Programming Board, Student Engagement Coordinators, Leadership Academy, Emerge Leadership Academy for first-year students, and Greek Life, like I mentioned earlier. So those are all topics we're going to be discussing, and then if you have questions, we'll be happy to answer any questions for you at the end. So first I'll talk about the Student Life Programming Board, known at Augustana as SLPB. We have a lot of acronyms here, so I'll get used to that. So this student programming board is made up of Augie student leaders who plan and organize different events and educational programming on campus to keep students engaged. So a very popular event we put on is bingo. This happens every month. We also have some other game nights. This is a committee of students who put on games and bingo. We also bring musicians to campus, comedians to campus, and we also have movie nights every 2 weeks where we offer a new movie that is typically just out of theaters or sometimes still in theaters. So that's pretty neat as well. We also oversee excursions and take students off campus to the wider Quad Cities community where we provide transportation for you. And sometimes we also take students to Chicago. We went to St. Louis for Cubs Cardinal games and hockey games as well. So that's another fun thing that our office offers. All of these events are free for Augie students. And like I mentioned, any events taking place off campus, we provide you with transportation for those. So then we have the Multicultural Programming Board, known as MPB, on campus. So this is a very similar programming board. It's also made up of all student workers, but this programming board has the mission to educate and expose our campus community to multiculturalism through entertainment, event planning, and productive conversations. So this programming board is made up of an executive director position. This is a paid position for a student worker. And then under that person, there is a few different committees. So those committees involve special events, comedy club, campus awareness and outreach, lectures and leadership, and international and independent films. So a lot of opportunities for students to be involved in our office as student workers and student leaders, as well as fun events and programs for you to enjoy as a student when you get to campus. Then we have leadership. So our office likes to give students opportunities to build their leadership skills every year while they're at Augustana outside of the classroom. So that typically starts with our Emerge Leadership Academy. Like I mentioned earlier, that is for first year students only. So it starts your first week here on campus and continues for a few weeks after, and it's a cohort based. So you all will meet once a week, and we bring in speakers from outside, professional speakers to come in and teach you about leadership and communication. It's a great way for you to meet other first year students on campus, and it's just a fun program to be involved in also. We also put on an Athletic Leadership Academy for our student athletes. That's very similar to our Emerge Leadership Academy, but for athletes on campus. And then as you get into your sophomore, junior, senior year, we offer some leadership exchanges. So every year we take a group of students to Washington, D.C. and a group of students to Disney. So both very fun experiences for our students. Again, that happens every year typically. Okay, so that's a little bit about our office, and now I'm going to turn it over to Molly to talk about a student perspective of Greek life on campus, student organization and engagement, and our funnest, might be our funnest event of fall, Welcome Week. Go ahead, Molly.
I totally agree with you, Tia, that Welcome Week might be just my favorite week of the entire year, but I might be a little biased. So yeah, thank you so much, Tia, for that awesome overview of the OSL. So I'm just going to run over a little bit about Greek life, about student organizations, Welcome Week, and then just kind of like my journey, my perspective, and things like that. So feel free, if while I'm talking you have any questions, just throw it in the chat. We'll talk about them at the end or anything like that. And then I'll leave you guys with my email, and feel free to send me any email, like a question over the summer if you start panicking or just have a random question. I'm always here to help. So to start off with Greek life at Augie is a little different than every other college, or most every other college that I've seen. So when I first heard about Greek life, I was a big no-go on Greek life. My sister went to Mizzou, and so I've just seen the massive houses and all of the expensive fees you need to pay and everything like that. So I didn't want any part of that. But I was really relieved to hear that Greek life at Augie was very different. So at Augie, we do have a very vibrant Greek life community. And I do wholeheartedly believe that that is because our Greek life system are all local chapters instead of nationals. So what that means is that we have 15 local fraternities and sororities. So that means that they don't have any affiliation with any other national Greek organization. So they are just specifically at Augustana. They are unique to Augustana, and they really serve us Augustana students perfectly. Another thing that really interested me into Greek life was that we rushed in the spring semester. So you have your whole fall semester to make your friends, to just live your life, to figure out college and everything like that, and you aren't thrown into a sorority or fraternity that just automatically puts you in a bubble, automatically makes you your friends. Like, you get to make your own friends, you get to figure out your own path, and then really decide if Greek life is for you or not. So that's something that really helps me with the Greek process. And I did decide to go Greek, but I also have a ton of friends who are not Greek, and we still hang out every week, if not more. I think our Greek life is really awesome because we have a lot of Greek unity, and that means that I, this past year, lived with 3 girls, and 2 of them were in a different sorority than I did. And so it's really awesome because you get to rush in the spring, you keep all those friends that you have made in the fall and everything like that, and then just add more friends. So our Greek life is very different than every other campus, and it's something that makes Augustana really awesome and really unique. Next, I want to talk about our student organizations. This is something that I love about Augustana. It's my position in the OSL is Student Engagement Coordinator. And so what that means is I'm kind of a liaison between all of our student groups on campus and the OSL. So if a student group wants to put on a fundraiser but doesn't know where to start, they would can come to me, and we can talk through ideas and talk through the OSL's resources that can help them. If a student group wants to work on retention, I can help them with that. So we do have, as Tia said, over 150 student organizations, which does seem like a lot and overwhelming, but it just means that there's something out there for everyone. I wholeheartedly also believe that everyone can find their little place in 1 or a billion student groups. I remember freshman year, I think I tried to join like 20 student organizations, and that is unrealistic. But because of that, I really saw where everyone could fit into their own student organization. So our student organizations really, they do range from things like service and activism to just simply social groups and hobby groups. So I really truly believe that there could be a group out there for everyone. But if you don't know if there is a group out there for you, or you can't find exactly like a particular group you want to join, you can easily start a student group. So that's another part of my position, is that I help students create their dream student organization. It's very simple. It's just you and a couple of friends, and grab a faculty advisor and really just start planning out your student organization, and it will come to life. So it's a really awesome experience. Starting a student group, it shows your leadership, it shows your skills, and it's something that you're really passionate about. And finally, which I think a lot of you are excited for, I hope, is Welcome Week. So Welcome Week is the first 4 days before school happens, and it is a jam-packed, very fun week. It might seem a little overwhelming at first, but it is so much fun. It's full of activities and guest speakers, and you just get really immersed into the Augustana community. But you do not go through this week alone. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'll be honest, not a lot of people from the St. Louis area come to Augie, and I was the only one I knew. I didn't know anyone, no one from my high school came, so I was very nervous in Welcome Week. But luckily we have these awesome groups called your peer mentor groups, and so you get into a group of students, about 12 to 15 students, with an upperclassman as kind of your rock of a group, and so you get to go through through all of Welcome Week with this group. So you have friends with you already, and you have people to kind of get through the week with you. But you get to meet a bunch of student organizations at our activities fair. So that's an awesome way to kind of start putting your name on lists to get more information about a student group, and you get to really learn about the student organizations on campus. We have awesome concerts going on during Welcome Week, as well as different excursions into the Quad Cities communities. And Welcome Week is just a really great time for you to really bond with your peer mentor group, but also your entire cohort as a whole class, because Augustana, we are really one big family. And I know that it's a smaller school, but I still meet new people every day. And Welcome Week is kind of your first introduction to how the atmosphere on campus really is. Okay, so I think I have a question from Rachel. So what types of student groups is everyone interested in exploring? I would love to know. I'll tell you all about them. Or if you have any that you're in high school with that you like and you want to continue. Well, I think you guys can all check out this list of awesome student groups. I know personally for myself that I did a lot in high school. I was involved heavily in sports and in student government and in social and service groups as well in high school. And so I wanted to be very involved in college. So Welcome Week was kind of my first foot in the door, where I put my name down on like 20 different activities lists, as well as my first opportunity to go into the Office of Student Life. So I do want to reiterate that like your freshman year is your time to start things, and you can get involved even as a freshman. Don't be afraid or scared of any upperclassmen, or that you can't get right involved into anything because you are just a freshman. I automatically, after like day 2 of Welcome Week, I walked into the OSL and was like, hi, I'd like to help sometime. And I started volunteering for the OSL. So freshman year, we really encourage people to start getting their foot in the door into activities that they love, because I truly believe that these are the activities that like keep you so engaged in college, and you find your lifelong friends within these activities too. Yeah, a ton of students start groups at Augustana. I think I helped like 15 different student groups get started in like fall semester this year. Really interested in Greek life. That's awesome. I hope you keep that interest. It's super fun.
Yeah, and if I could just jump in real quick, I wanted to mention when I'm done sharing my screen, I will put links in the chat for you to get to the Greek Life website, so you can check out Greek Life a little more through that way, as well as a video link for Welcome Week, so you can kind of see what Welcome Week's like through the video as well.
Thanks, yeah. And if anyone has any questions involving anything from the OSL, feel free to put them in the chat. Again, I'll put my email in the chat right now, and so you can email me today or in the middle of July or really whenever. And I can't wait to see you all in the fall.
Thanks, Molly. Right now, does anyone have any other questions about anything involving the Office of Student Life in general? Okay. All right, well, if you think of anything, we'll take questions again at the end. Otherwise, I will turn it over to Michael. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon. Well, is it still good morning or good afternoon? I'm not sure. But good day. I'll just say good day to everyone. My name is Michael Rogers, and I am the director in the Office of Student Inclusion and Diversity at Augustana. I just so happen to be a graduate of Augustana. I graduated in 2012. So obviously I loved Augustana enough to come back and work there. My wife is also an alum of Augustana, and her father graduated from Augustana in 1977. So I feel like I have a lot of connections and history with Augustana. It's been a pretty good experience. So I just wanted to take a quick moment to introduce myself. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, by way of Chicago and by way of Dyersburg, Tennessee. So I just wanted to share a little bit about myself because I believe that is important. I am going to share my screen. And I do want to say before I share my screen, I have creatively tried to create something to engage you all. So I'm going to ask a couple questions in my presentation, and I'm going to need you all to engage in the chat. All right, so get ready. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So I hope everyone is able to see. All right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and share. I can see the presentation is up, but I can't see anyone and I cannot see the chat feature. So if there's a way for me to see the chat, I'm not sure. So if someone could, I don't know if one of the staff members or if one of the students, if you want to say something so I can know if somebody answered the question so I can move forward, that would help me a lot. All right, so as mentioned, I'm representing the Office of Student Inclusion and Diversity. So what I'm gonna do first is I am going to, and I'm just checking, making sure on time. So I'm gonna start with just a quick activity. I don't know if you all have seen, I think on Instagram or different social media apps where people have been creating things so you can try to figure out words. So that is what I have tried to do for some things that is important to our office. So this is the first one. I want you to try to figure out what I am trying to say. And again, if someone could chime in so I can hear that someone answered it, that would be great because I cannot see the chat. So what are some guesses that people have so far, if any have been put in the chat?
We had one guess of diversity.
Yes, yes, thank you. And again, these are things that I created, so I was like, I don't know if anyone can figure this out. I tried to have my wife do it and it took her like 5 minutes and I was like, oh gosh, this is making me nervous. So I'm glad that you figured it out. So the first word that I wanted to talk about is obviously diversity. This is something that is not only important to my office, this is something that is critical to the mission of Augustana. If you go on the website and you look up our mission statement, it says that we are focused on creating leaders that will be prepared for a diverse and changing world. So we see the diversity is rooted and grounded within the mission statement of Augustana. And so when we talk about diversity, we are really focusing on human differences. You know, sometimes people, when they think of diversity, they might think of, you know, different intellectual ideas, and all of that stuff is important and it is a part of diversity, but we focus on human differences, whether it be race, whether it be gender, sexual orientation, ability level, socioeconomic status. There's so many things, body size, hair texture. There's so many things that go into diversity. And this is so, so important to Augustana, the mission of the college and what we do as an office. All right, so the next one. Hopefully this one.
We've got a couple guesses for inclusion.
Yes, yes,
From
absolutely.
Rixie and Reed.
Thank you. So inclusion.
And a few more. Everyone got that one. That's a good one.
And I wasn't sure. I was like, with the sun, it's a little bit different, but I'm glad that you all are figuring it out. It shows that you all are very bright, brilliant minds, and you'll bring so much to Augustana. So when we talk about inclusion, this is really where we talk about, so the diversity already exists. And something I also want to share too is that our diversity at Augustana has grown significantly. When I came to Augustana in 2008, and when I came back to work at Augustana in 2015, I was like, whoa, the visual diversity on campus has grown. We have so many more international students. And from a race and ethnicity standpoint, it is certainly diversified. We have more first generation students. So if you're the first in your family to go to college, you are not alone. We have so many different aspects of diversity on campus, but inclusion focuses on infusing those different identity points together so that everyone feels welcome, they feel valued, and they feel celebrated. This is why we do what we do. The last one that I want to share is not one that I want you to guess. I'm wanted to talk about equity. And this is something that is also important to our office. So you can see from this picture here, there are two different images. One is equality and one is equity. And a lot of times, you know, we've heard parents have questions or students have questions and say, well, why do you do certain things for certain groups of students? But I want to share this image because if we treated all students the same, then undoubtedly, like you could see in the equality picture, that someone would not be able to have a full Augustana experience if we decided that every student that comes in, we're going to treat them the same. So just imagine if you came into Augustana as a political science major, but we said, we're going to treat everyone like biology students. So you would be taking unnecessary courses. You would be doing things that were not necessarily needed for you. And so this is why equity is so important, because at Augustana, we give students what they need. So on the equity side, you can see that the shorter person needed an extra step stool so that they can actually see the game. And so that's why we do what we do at Augustana. That's why we provide certain opportunities. You will see a lot of different student organizations that focus on different culture groups, different ethnicity groups, because we recognize that certain students need extra things. And that the history of higher education started out very exclusionary. Not everyone was able to go to college. And so that's why we have some of these things in place to make sure that all of our students have opportunities and have what they need to be successful. So I just want to give a brief overview. We do tons of programming. And that's one of the things that we are really missing right now. We've been doing virtual programming, which is great during this time, but we miss interacting with our students. So the PACE Multicultural Mentorship Program, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in the next slide. We do have student leaders for inclusion, diversity, and equity. This is something that is open to the entire campus. If you are interested and you are passionate in learning about diversity, equity, and inclusion, if you don't know anything about it and you want to learn more, this is an opportunity for you. We provide workshops throughout the school year where you can come and you can learn about these topics. Again, we believe that this gives you a cutting edge. If you leave Augustana and say, I have experience with diversity, equity, and inclusion, employers are going to be looking at this. They're excited about graduates that can say, I have experience with cultures that are different than my own. We also have 2 empowerment groups that focus on empowering men and women of color. And so when we say men and women of color, we mean historically underrepresented groups, whether it be Asian, whether it be Latino, whether it be African American or of African descent. So we have empowerment groups that focus on these groups for men and women. So that's the SOUL group, and that is MMA, which is the Multicultural Men's Association. They usually meet every 2 weeks. And we also have started a graduate school workshop series. If you are interested in going to graduate school, and I know right now you're probably thinking, I just want to start college, but you should be thinking towards the future. And if you're interested in going to graduate school, we do offer those workshops for our students. We do a lot of event programming. I mean, this slide that you see right now is just the brink of the tip of the iceberg. There are so many things that you can get involved in through our office and through Augustana that will just keep you engaged and busy. The last thing I want to talk about is cultural leadership trips. So much like OSL, we also do take our students on trips. One of our biggest trips is our Selma Civil Rights Journey trip. We go, it's usually a 6-day trip where we go to Memphis, we go to 3 different cities in Alabama, and we visit historical sites. We get to go to Dr. King's home. We get to go to historical churches and monuments of so many different civil rights leaders, the Rosa Parks Museum. Just a phenomenal trip that literally will open your mind to justice and to equality and to equity, and just so many important things that happen that you can read about it in the book, but until you'll experience it, it will really open your mind. So that's just one example of trips that we provide for our students. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about is our PACE program. This is a multicultural mentorship program for students from historically underrepresented backgrounds. You can see this is a picture here from the previous year of students that signed up for the program. PACE is an acronym. As Tia mentioned, we have so many acronyms at Augustana. It stands for preparation, awareness, community, and engagement. So these are the goals of the program. We want to prepare students for Augustana. We want them to be aware of their identities and others' identities. We want them to build community with each other, and we want them to be engaged with their Augustana experience. So if you are a student, again, within that historically underrepresented background, this is a multicultural mentorship program that is for you. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. I participated in this program 12 years ago. Hard to say that every time I say how long it's been. I was in this program. I met my lifelong friends here. We still keep in touch. We've been in each other's weddings. One is pregnant now. We've been talking, my wife and I have been talking to her. So really lifelong relationships are built. And I guarantee you that any student that was in this program would tell you that if you have the opportunity to register for this program, you should absolutely do it. Students that don't do it, they miss out and they're like, I wish I would have signed up for the PACE program. So it's a year-long mentorship program. And I just wanted to share a quote from Vicente Serrano. He is the class of 2021. He said, in all honesty, PACE was the foundation of a successful freshman year for me. It allowed me to make long-lasting friendships, create exciting memories, and expand my knowledge on a variety of cultures. I am super grateful for this amazing orientation, and I hope that each prospective student considers participating because it is an awesome and fun way to start your college experience. So Vicente is a senior now. He's actually one of our student employees, and I believe because he got involved in the PACE program, it just really was a catalyst for his college experience. So I was hoping to be able to have a student join. They were not available, but I wanted to just share at least a quote from Vicente to talk about his experience with the PACE program and just some of the things that we do with our students. So that concludes my presentation. Does anyone have any questions? So I'm looking in the chat now. I can see it. Okay, awesome.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Michael.
I'm first gen as well.
Yeah, we've got some first gen students here, I'm sure, talking a little bit about that in the chat. So yeah, anybody have any other questions for Michael or Tia or Molly? As we close it out, we've got just a couple more minutes here. Do you guys want to talk maybe, I don't know if this would be you, Molly, but about what a typical weekend at Augustana does look like?
Yeah, definitely. I think a typical weekend for me, I definitely always just because I love all the programming that we put on at Augie. I usually we have programming I think every weekend, multiple times a weekend. So I'll probably either go to bingo on a Friday night, or I love going to the comedians that come to campus. So I'll always go to one of those. And then that'll probably either be like a Friday or a Saturday night. During the day, my friends and I usually just hang out. We usually either go to, like, if the weather is nice, we do a lot of like parks / hiking around. There's lots of really great areas to go around the Quad Cities that aren't too far. Sometimes we'll just do like our grocery shopping or go out anywhere off campus for a little bit. Homework, of course, because that's a necessity to do. That's usually a Sunday problem for me. But I definitely always do some kind of programming, and it's 99% of the time either out of either of these offices is the programming usually. So yeah, or there probably is a sorority event going on sometimes. So it just kind of depends, but I'm never bored. I do this every year when I make my schedule and I like put all the dates in my planner, and I swear every weekend until like the end of the semester always has at least one thing on it for me. So I love that. I love that there's always at least something to do on campus, and there's always multiple things to choose from.
Awesome. And we had another question about what type of stores are around Augustana. You mentioned shopping.
Yeah. Well, we have two malls near Augustana. There's one on the Illinois side and there's one on the Iowa side. So that's nice. And they have very different kind of stores. So that's always nice. You can go back and forth. Target is pretty close. You can find me there pretty often. Walmart, Target, Walmart, right around school, like within walking distance, there's Hy-Vee, there's like a CVS and a Walgreens within walking distance. There's Whitey's, which is, I think, the piece of resistance in walking distance for us. So yeah, there's plenty of stores to go around. And if you don't have a car, we have like, there's always, you can always find a friend who has a car, as well as we have different programs from Augie, like Campus Cupboard sometimes does grocery runs. So they'll take people in a car to go to the grocery store, and different things like that. So there's plenty of things within walking distance, and you can always find a car. Whitey's does
Awesome.
have great ice cream.
Yeah, Whitey's is good ice cream. There's a lot of students that run up there. So, and we serve it on campus too. And then we had a question about specific events on campus for international students. Does anyone want to take that one?
So the question was about specific events for international students? Okay.
Yes.
I can answer that question. So we have normally for international students what we call International Street Fest. And that is like usually a couple days, 3 days of programming, usually a week actually, where we encourage international students to share about their culture, to share about their customs from home, to share about their food. So every year, the Gerber Center Dining will collaborate with the international office and offer different international dishes in the dining hall. So that's just one of the events. Normally we have like the international office will celebrate Diwali, Holi, a lot of different events that take place throughout the school year. And if there's something that you're interested in doing that you don't see at Augustana, that is always something that, you know, in my office and in the international office as well, we're always looking for feedback from students. So if there's something about your culture, for example, one of our student workers is from South Africa, and she felt like, you know, South African culture wasn't really represented on campus. So she did an event in one of our cultural houses on campus where she ordered some snacks from South Africa just to educate people about the different snacks and food that come from South Africa. So that's just an example that if you don't see something on campus, you can literally create it.
Awesome. You guys, everybody, they do a great job with the events, and they're all really well attended at Augustana. We do see a lot of students on the weekends. We don't have a campus where everybody packs up and heads out on the weekend. So it's a great, vibrant atmosphere on campus. Someone had asked earlier about dates for PACE, and I think those were thrown up in the chat. Welcome Week, which is when all of our students move in, I believe starts on the 27th, Tia, is that right, of August? So that's when we're looking forward to welcoming everybody to campus. So we're excited about that. So unless are there any other last minute questions, otherwise we'll wrap it up here and thank our presenters. We really appreciate you guys giving us an overview of all the exciting things that are going on at Augustana for our students.
So I just wanted to answer the question really quick. Someone said for PACE, do we get to move in early?
Oh, okay, I missed that one, sorry.
Absolutely, you do get to move in on that Sunday, the 23rd. And so that's, you know, another perk. If you do sign up for the program, you do get to move in early. And the last thing I wanted to say, I know oftentimes with events like this, normally when they happen on campus and virtually, that some students have not yet committed to Augustana. They're still trying to decide if this is where they want to go. So I just wanted to say that that was me. When I was going to college, I was like, I don't really know if Augustana is going to be a good fit for me. And I'm 100% glad with my decision. So if that's you and you still have some questions and you're not sure and you'd like to talk with someone, I just wanted to offer that I'd be willing to help you navigate through that and make sure if this is a good decision for you. I believe that it will be. So I put my email in the chat and feel free to reach out and I'd be glad to talk through that process with you.
Thanks, Michael. And I see we had one last one come in. We just have a couple seconds left here to answer, but yes, we do plan to start back in the fall as usual, but of course we have to be sensitive to what's going on with COVID and what our Illinois state tells us. So we have some committees working on all kinds of different options there, but our hope is right now that we'll be able to welcome everybody in person. So we're looking forward to that. All right. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate everybody coming, and we'll look forward to hopefully seeing you in one of our other sessions. Thanks, Michael and Tia and Molly, too.